Hello, my name is Barbara J. Bass, and I am here to tell you about something I heard and a snippet of my testimony. Uh, I had made a video on this, but I don't feel like I had enough information because now, like, that I actually experienced something, I realized that uh, what I was missing from that video. A couple weeks ago, I kept hearing this theme song from the Harry Potter, and I don't really like that song because, like, it's crazy how it went from like being kind of like into like witchy stuff, but not like real dark black magic, like, the real vulgar stuff where it'd be like you wilding right now. But just little curious stuff like Harry Potter, watching Harry Potter. I thought it was innocent, but like hearing that song, the theme song. Yeah, we all know that song. So anyway, it's actually like taken from another song like that's very popular. I think like ballet dancers they dance to it or whatever, but the Harry Potter song is called Ludwig theme song, which Ludwig is his owl, and the owl represents education. And like whenever that song is being played, it's showing that the like what I researched is that song means that the children in the movie are safe and that they have courage to like do things that would normally otherwise be challenging. They can get through things. And then the school, the owl represents education or school or college, wisdom, and stuff like that. And the owl has always been like a symbol for education. So when I was living in one state, I was going to a school, and the spirit animal, or the, what do they call it? The symbol for the school, I forgot, the mascot was a owl. And some situations happened to me at that school where my teacher was trying to basically pressure me into sleeping with him in order to get better grades in his class. And it's crazy because like at that time I was dating someone. We were like boyfriend and girlfriend, and we were in the same classes, so we didn't want our teachers knowing that we were boyfriend and girlfriend, because of course they would probably assume that we're doing all of our homework, our tests and everything together, and we weren't, because I was actually we didn't do our assignments together. But anyway, this teacher, he knew that I was with that man, and they were kind of like the same age. They both were like older men, and I don't know, I thought from one black man to another black man he would have more respect, but he was like literally trying to holler at me. He knew that man was my man, but we never flat out said it. And I think he tried to ask us, but we didn't say it because we just didn't want them knowing our business. We didn't want them knowing we lived together or nothing. But anyway, so that teacher tried to like ruin my future because he kept trying to fail me. I think he was like trying to pass me with a 74, which is technically, it's passing, but like in the state that I came from before I moved here, you can get a 74 and you can pass, but if it's a part of your degree, you have to retake it again. So it's almost like you failed it. So like he tried to do that to me twice, and then I had to fight my grade, and it was kind of like his word against mine. And I was feeling some type of way because he was like a black man and he had all these accolades, and at the time I was kind of like for black people doing well in life, and I just didn't want to ruin or be the one to like take him down, even though he was like playing games and trying to get me like tied up. So it was very traumatizing for me. Like I remember he gave us back our tests one day, and then he was like, I had some answers on there that were right, and I was like, hey, these answers are actually right. And he was like, no, no, you just changed that, you just put those answers. And that's when I looked at him and I was like, yo, this man is really crazy. That's when I realized, like, yeah, he is on to something. Like whenever I would ask questions to try to get help, he would not help me. It was just so bad. And so like on my senior year, and somebody in the financial aid was saying that I didn't have enough money, and then it was that whole case with him, me and him going back and forth, and then me trying to fight my grades, and then him being on the panel of the school and then telling me like, hey, I'm still gonna give you the same grade, there's nothing you can do, I'm the final decision maker on the panel. So I just felt really like trapped. So that was horrible, but it was just traumatizing. I had 1 year left of school left. I had like a semester of summer, like a summer semester, and then like a spring and fall semester to take when I was done at that school. And I didn't want to go back to school. I was so traumatized by the situation. Plus, on top of that, I got like false information about me not having enough money. So my mom and my sister, they asked me to move to the state where they were living, and I didn't have much support where I was living, so I ended up moving to where they're at. And then after a year of living there, I heard a voice say, go ahead and finish school. And of course it was God. Holy Spirit was telling me that I needed to go back to school and finish my degree. So I ended up going back to school, and I finished, and I was about to when I heard that voice, it was literally like 1 year of me already living in the state of where I'm living now. So I knew that God was telling me to go, because all of the problems and obstacles and how much more money I would have been spending if I had tried to do like out of state tuition. So I knew that God had waited at just the right month, because I'm very ambitious. I would have been trying to find out like loopholes. So he waited exactly into like literally a year of me living here. Like when I applied, I had to wait like 2 days before I sent in like the paperwork proving when I moved here, because it still wasn't the exact date yet. But like by the time I sent in the paper, I got approved, and I was back where I left off. So it was like whatever the devil tried to steal from me back then when I didn't have the support and I couldn't finish school, it was like it was all being handed back to me, and I was just starting from scratch again, not from scratch, but from where I left off. And I literally did that summer semester, a spring semester, and a fall semester just like it was. And I could have took all those classes within like a summer and a spring semester, but I didn't want to like put too much on myself and then graduate in December. I really wanted to graduate in the May semester, because the location for the graduation was just better to me. So anyways, I go to the school, I apply. Long story short, my major ends up changing from like education to religious studies, and it works out perfectly. Like it just worked out so perfectly, because I was kind of miserable in the education system, having to like be silent, shut up, not allowed to talk about certain things. It's a very strict environment, walking on eggshells, staff support, things like that. So I had left the teaching field when I left Atlanta, and I knew that was where I was at in Atlanta. And then I knew that I didn't want to be out there anymore, and I didn't want to be a teacher anymore. So I left, and then I moved here. And that's when it changed to the religious studies. And I did my best while I was in school. I've always been a straight A student. I'm trying to make this story like not too long and not too short. I want to give you the right details. I feel like after I tell the whole story, I'm going to be like, oh, I forgot to say this important part. So long story short, school politics. I make straight A's. At the end, it's time for me to get my cords, which if anyone who works in education, or if your degree's in education, if education is like a big deal to you, then getting your cords and being rewarded for your accomplishments is very important to you. So the cords were a very big deal to me. And then when my advisor told me that I wasn't going to be able to get my cords, it really brought me down. And the crazy thing is, she made a joke and was like, give me $20. And I was like, okay. I was just like, whatever it takes, just give me my cords. And she was like, no, technically, since you only were here for senior year, you didn't take enough classes, and it's policy. We don't have to give you the cords, or we can't give you the cords. We're not giving you the cords. Whatever it was, I was not getting the cords. And I was like sitting there teary eyed, and I was going to different people like who I felt like were in higher positions than her, trying to get them to talk her into it. And I felt like if it was someone else, she would have did it, because me and her had some history prior to that situation. And I can't say that she doesn't like me, but I do feel like she was kind of looking at me like, who do you think you are? And the reason why is because the devil will use certain people and places to sabotage your blessings. So I knew that it was easy for her to. There was a situation, long story short, with the advisor that was in her position before her, and she retired. She was supposed to fix something on my transcript before she left, and she did not do it. So me and her had, you know, I had proof of this through like emails and stuff. So the lady, the new advisor, she's like, I need to see proof and all this stuff. So I'm giving her the proof, and she's like, oh, just take another class and just graduate a semester later than when you thought you were going to graduate. So here I am like, oh, and I just realized that I was like, yeah, the devil is using her to try to snatch what my promise was, which was to do 1 year. How I left off, all I had was 1 year, so I just wanted to do 1 year. And she was like, oh, just come up with another $3,000, take another class, and then you'll just, it'll be fixed. And I'm like, no, because that's not what the advisor told me before you. That's not what she said. That's not what she said before she left. She said it would even itself out, and if it didn't, she would fix it. And she was like, well, I need email saying that. For some reason, that email was hidden from me. I could not find it in my history. And I almost started thinking like, did the school go in my email and delete it? Like, that's how bad it was. Cause I was like, why is this email not turning up? And then finally, like at the last minute, after I had already sent her the proof of the other emails, but that main email was the one I was looking for because that was the one where she said she would fix it. So basically all they had to do was put another course into that course. You only need 120 credits to graduate. When I came to the school, I already had 123 credits because I just took classes that I wanted to take. I did not take, oh, you want to be a pharmacist? Okay, you have to take these classes to be a pharmacist. I took classes that I saw in the catalog that I want to take. That's why my degree is in interdisciplinary studies, because I took what I want to study. So like my degrees, my background is in like 3 different subjects, So anyway, long story short, I just love education. I love school. I like going to school and taking classes. I like to educate myself. I like to read. And then if it's free and I can go to school and get certificates and accolades and work my way up. And I don't know. I just love education, because now the education system is kind of like sleep dead. And I can tell it is, because it's so easy for me to make straight A's. And I remember when school was never that easy to just make straight A's, but now they make everything so easy. It's challenging sometimes with the work frame, like time frames, but overall college is so easy to me. It wasn't really that challenging. It was more challenging because I had other things in my life going on, but the work itself is not challenging. So anyway, but it is a big deal to me. I was going to cry. I had tears in my eyes. I was going to all these people trying to get her to give me my chords. She would not give me my chords. I had a 4.0. Even before I came to the school, I had a 4.0. So if you just averaged all my grades, then I should still get the chords. But she's like, no, you didn't take enough chords here. Credits here. And then, so she didn't want to give me my chords. And that really hurt my feelings. And then on top of that, she's trying to make me like ruin my promise of graduating in May and being done. She's like, oh, just take another class in December. Just come up with another $3,000 that I did not have to take that course, when I'm like, no, I have 123 credits that I came in here with. Plus, I just took 30 more. You can find one of those classes to put in that spot. I'm not taking any more classes. I'm done. I'm supposed to be graduating in May. What are you talking about? And she just said it so nonchalant, like it was just not going to be a big problem. And I'm like, no, ma'am. What do you think this is? And then to make matters worse, I go to the office and there's a black woman in there telling me like, yeah, in Texas where I live at is there's a huge population of Hispanics, and this woman is Hispanic, and then the lady's telling me like, yeah, Hispanic people, if you were Hispanic, they help each other out. She would have just put another class in there for you, but she's giving you a hard time because you're black. And she was like, yeah, I heard about 8 and 9 other students that this happened to. And then now I'm looking at it like it's a race issue. But I feel like that woman who said that, it was just to kind of make the situation worse, like to add icing on the cake, when I don't even care about what they got going on. All I cared about was my situation. I'm like, no. But to hear that it had happened to like 8 or 9 other black people, I'm like, oh Lord, now I've got to tag the race issue on top of it. And I'm just like, yeah. She's like, oh yeah, when it's Mexicans, they just put any class in there. I mean, it can be a math class and they'll put the weakest class in there, like an orientation, art, whatever. Like, they get their needs met. but because you're black, they just don't really care about you. They're gonna make you take another class. They feel like you got the money. And I'm just like, this is so corrupt. So, but I actually love the school that I graduated from. I want to say that all that stuff is just drama and politics. That I don't, you know, I don't know what their situations was, and I don't know if that woman was just lying to make me feel worse. But that definitely made me feel like I needed to really put my foot on that lady neck with handling my situation. So I did. Like, I sent her an email the next day, and I was just on her case. So she kind of was like, you're annoying, you get on my nerves. And she kind of had this energy towards me whenever she would see me, like, oh Lord, here she comes. Oh, she gets on my nerves. And then I remember me and her and someone else were at a table, and I was like, she hates me. And she was like, no, I don't hate you. But I think she was just more irritated with me because when I emailed her, I came at her and I spoke to her in a professional manner. But I don't know, when I first looked at it, I felt like, I'm like, did I just blackmail this woman using God? But then when I spoke to my spiritual advisor, who is a Christian Jewish woman, or Judaism, anyway, I'm not even going to get into all that. But when I spoke to her, this is my person. I noticed everybody is like granted a person. God always gives you like a little guardian person you can call on when you're going through spiritual warfare. And this lady, she's my person. And when I called her and asked her and told her about the whole situation, she was saying like, don't worry about it. It's going to take care of itself, all this blah, blah, blah. So I forgot where I was going with that. But anyway, the situation just started to I started to get mad about me not being able to get my cords, and then just the whole situation. So it was wearing down on me, and that's when I called my person, my helper who helps me get through my spiritual warfare. And she kind of was like, I know it's a big deal to you, but just, don't worry about it. And then I saw this prophetic word where someone was saying, just graduate, just worry about the graduation. Don't worry about anything else. And I took that as just forget about the cords. Don't worry about the cords. And so I just left it alone. I decided that I wasn't going to worry about the cords, but it did bother me for some time. And I did feel like I had kind of, to a certain extent, I felt like I was like, oh no, did I do something wrong by using God to, I sent her an email, and I was just like, you have the power. I basically let her know, you have the power to fix this. And if you don't fix this, you ain't going to have a good life. You going to end up messed up, because you have the power to just go in here and put the class in and fix it. I know you can, but you're not doing it for some reason. I don't know what that is. But if you don't do it, God is not going to be pleased with you. You're not going to be blessed. I'm not going to be blessed. We're both going to end up messed up in the situation. So I think you should just fix it. And I felt kind of out of line. But then when I spoke to this is what I was going to tell you. I almost forgot earlier. My spiritual advisor, my person, she was like, no, what you did is the devil was trying to use her as a blockage, because she's the one who's in the power position to fix it. And he was trying to use her to basically block me from my blessing, block me from my promise. And so God was like, not God, but God did use me to basically send this email to her. And at first I felt like I was really bold to do something and say those things. But, when I spoke to my spiritual advisor, she was like, no, you knew, in your subconscious mind, that this was a demonic force trying to block something for you. And you took authority over this situation happening in the physical realm, even though it really was something spiritual happening under the scenes. And I did attack it with prayer and stuff like that from that point of view, because I was like, I can't believe this lady's being so nonchalant. I just got another $3,000 to pull out and just take another class, and then graduate another 6 months later for one class. I was like, this lady is crazy. So my spiritual advisor, she told me she was a demon trying to take your blessing, trying to ruin your promise. And you basically took authority and let her know that, hey, you need to give me my blessing and you will be blessed too. But if you don't, then you're going to get messed up. And that's, in so many words, that's what I said. I said it more professional, but, in a better way. But I did basically, threaten her, if you don't do this, then this is what's going to happen to you. If you do this, this is what could happen for you. And my spiritual advisor let me know, no, you didn't do anything wrong. And that had been weighing on me. The devil had been convicting me on that, making me feel kind of embarrassed. You done told this girl all your business. Because I was telling her, like, I don't have that money. I'm not coming up with that money. I don't have it. Like, no, fix this. Do what you can. You got to do. You do what you can do, because I know you can fix this. And how come the other advisor was so willing to fix it, and now you telling me you can't? And then why you want all this proof? Like, I sent her the proof. And then finally, like, after she agreed to do it, that's when the other email turned up, and I sent that one to her too, even though it was late. I was like, I just wanted to send this to you because I want you to see I wasn't lying. This lady did say she was going to fix it before she retired. So anyway, she seems to be about to cry. She's not giving me the cords. And then this was like at the graduation orientation. I go up there. I had got a letter in my email saying that I had made Dean's List. So I'm thinking I'm going to be in the award ceremony. And they're like, no, you didn't take enough credits here. You took enough credits to like barely graduate from our school, but you don't have enough to get the cords. And you don't have enough to attend the award ceremony. But I was an ambassador for the school. That's what just kind of made me feel like, what? Like, y'all allow us to do certain things, but then other things is just like, oh no, you didn't take enough credits, which to me sounds like you didn't spend enough money here. Okay. And I didn't, because it wasn't my money. I had scholarships that paid for me to go to school. So I got really blessed. Cause I was like, when God first told me to finish that year, I'm like, how am I going to pay for it? Because at the other school, they told me I didn't have enough money for my next semester. So how am I going to pay for it? But I guess this school, the semesters are cheaper by the thousands. So it was enough left in that account. I guess my subsidized whatever. It was like a couple thousand left plus my scholarships and stuff. So I didn't pay out of pocket anything. But so anyways, I couldn't get the cords. I'm sad. I'm crying. I'm really hurt about it. I'm bothered by it by like a whole week or two. I'm bothered by the fact that I couldn't be in the award ceremony, even though I made Dean's List. I'm just bothered by school politics, money, and everything. Like the whole cliche is like, just say you didn't spend enough thousands, and that's why we can't give you the cords, even though those cords is like on Amazon for like $10. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I'm sad. Then I finally get that prophetic word, and the lady on there was saying, just graduate. Don't worry about nothing else. And that I took that as, okay, just don't worry about these cords. Just get what you gotta. Just graduate. Get your diploma. Yeah, she said, just God is saying, just get your diploma, whatever that may mean for you. And I'm like, yeah, that's for me to just forget about the cords. So in my mind, I'm already defeated about the cords. And I remember she made a joke. My advisor, the one that didn't like me, she said something. Well, I ain't gonna say she didn't like me, but the advisor who was giving me issues about helping me with my transcript, she gonna make this joke, and she said, you can just go to one of those little home goods or like home stores for decoration and just buy 2 like curtain rod things. They look just like the cords that you guys be wearing. That is so bootleg to me. That's like me wanting a husband, and then I go and buy a husband from somewhere. Like, what? I couldn't just meet one out in public somewhere, or one couldn't just find me. Why I gotta go through these extreme, like, that's lame. Like, that's like cheating your way to the top. Like, that's sorcery. I'm not finna go and buy my own cords. Then she's like, well, they sell them on Amazon or something like that. You just buy your own. And she, at one point, she made a joke and was like, just give me $20. And I was like, here. And then she was like, no, it's policy. I can't give them to you. So it's like she tricked me real quick. And there were other people standing around. So it was like she was like dangling them in my face and then wouldn't give them to me. So I was just like, this lady, that's what made me look at her like, yo, you wildin', like, you evil slick. Like, and then you see me about to cry, and everybody around her, all her coworkers that knew me because I was an ambassador at the school, she knows me, they're like, just give it to her. You got thousands of them, and it's only like a couple people who made straight A's. You could give her them cords. And she was just like, no, it's policy. So I go on Amazon. I try to find the red and white cord, because that's what you get for a 4.0, and I know that's what I deserve. And then I'm thinking like, well, gold and white, purple and gold kind of represents God more. So I'm thinking like, I'll just buy my own cords. And then I kept hearing something saying like, no, that's lame. Like, you not finna buy your own cords. And I try to look for the cords, and they a different length. They way longer or way shorter than the ones they gave us at the school, or they're like a maroon red rather than the bright red. And I'm just like, this is not working out. So I get frustrated, and then it's getting closer and closer to graduation, to the point where I can't even buy them now because it's going to be shipped to my house past the date. So I just gave up. And then the last straw was that prophetic word that was like, just let it go. Just get your diploma and move forward. And then she was like, I remember her saying too, she was like, you could just use your, at least you'll be able to put your 4.0 on your resume, which is true. And I do look forward to that. But and everybody's like, who cares about chords? No one, like all my friends calling me, trying to cheer me up. Like, who cares about chords? No one, you're not going to even look at those chords once you graduate. No one's looking on your resume to see if you have chords or what classes you took. No one's looking that deep into it. You shouldn't be worried about it. Like, everybody's trying to convince me and downplay my chords. Like, I'm like, no. In the world of education, chords are everything. Okay. So anyway, and it's not even that they're everything, because I wasn't trying to idolize the chords or nothing like that. But I know that God saw my response to not being able to get the chords, and he knew how much it meant to me. Like, of course, God knows that the chords are not more important to him. Even I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I should get purple and gold, like trying to buy my own chords. Like, these chords kind of represent God to me more, like those colors, blue and gold or something like that. So I was like, forget the red and white. Like, I was already in my mind, like, I don't know, it's just all over the place trying to figure out what I wanted to do about what I wanted to wear around, like the regalia around my neck. So anyway, after that prophetic word, I ended up saying, just forget it. And then I go to graduation, and my mom, we're rushing. It's anxiety the whole day. I get up at like super duper early, way hours ahead, get ready and everything. And somehow I just kept having this feeling like I'm still going to be late somehow. And it's exactly what happened. Like, I have like 5 minutes to get to the stadium where I'm graduating. And then my sister accidentally turns the wrong way. Like, the GPS is so confusing. It's saying, oh, you can turn right. Oh, you can turn left. And it like confused us on which way to there, and we ended up going the wrong way. So that gave us anxiety, because he was like, if you're not here by 3:45, the guy at the orientation, he's like, if you're not here by 3:45 on the dot, you won't be walking. So we're like, oh Lord. And that's what he said at the orientation. So I kept hearing that in my mind. I'm like, man, I got 5 minutes to get in there, and I'm sure since it's in the stadium, it's not like I'm just gonna walk in the door and be there. I'm gonna have to walk down a million stairs or walk underground, or it's gonna be like a long walk before. I'm like, how am I gonna get in this place in 5 minutes? So then we're going through, we finally get there. We're like, where's the quickest place my sister's asking, where's the quickest place we can drop her off where she'll be right there and she won't miss the walking? And they're like, oh, right there. So they drop me off. I finally get in there, and then my mom and them, and I'm like, my heart's beating, I'm running, I'm having anxiety. I could not calm down. Like, and I was just like, I felt like I looked beautiful on my graduation day. I felt like I took time to really make myself look how I wanted to look, and I felt great. Like, I wore my natural hair, and I always wear my natural hair, but I usually wear it straight, and like that day I wore it curly, and I just felt good and excited, but anxiety. And then my mom, I get a text from my mom while we're waiting, and she says, hey, we just parked, and look what I found at my feet. And it was the cords. It's 2 cords. They tie them in a knot, and then for them to be red and white, it was like God's signature on it. My cousin, she's so funny, because when I talk to her about it, she's like, she calls it the dramatics or something like that. Dramatics, like if you're from Atlanta, dramatics, whatever. They say that on songs or whatever. But anyway, she calls it dramatics. I guess that's like a popular DJ or something, and he put that sound on his mixtapes or whatever. But anyway, yeah, so like she calls it the dramatics, but I call it God's signature, because the way he dropped those chords right there at my mom's feet as soon as she opened the door where they parked at. And then they were trying to hurry to park so they could get into the graduation and not miss anything. And my last name is Bass, so I'm at the front of the graduation. And so I'm like, how am I going to get those chords? Now, it's several times throughout this whole story that I just felt defeated. And at this time, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to walk with those chords. I'm like speaking to myself negative. And it's funny, because all this week I've been seeing like prophetic words, and just even parts of the Bible where it's talking about self-talk, like make sure you talk to yourself more positively. But like, it was like I had already so much anxiety. And then I was already thinking like, I'm not going to be able to walk with these chords. But something kept saying, no, you think I'm going to take you this far, and your mom finds the chords, and then you're not going to walk with them? Like, girl, get out of here. Like, I can hear a little like whisper, like, yeah, girl, stop it, you finna get these chords. And I'm like, but how? So I hit up one of my friends that when I used to be an ambassador for the school, we worked the last semester's graduation together, so we're real cool. And she helped me with other things too around like Christmas time and stuff like that. So she's like, I be wondering who she is. I be like, girl, you're a little angel in my life, because whenever I'm going through something tough, you're always there. But anyway, I sent her to go get the cords from my mom, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go get him. And then she's like, I'm gonna just leave him right here on the table. When you walking through, just grab him. I said, no, you have to bring them to me, or someone else is gonna grab them. Please don't leave them at the table. And she was like, no, I can't come back there. And I'm like, please. And she's like, how am I gonna find you? It's not gonna be enough time. Literally, like, there was 5 people to come out on the stage before me when I finally got those cords in my hand. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to get the cords in time. And then there's another voice saying, you will walk across that stage with these cords on. And I was like, going back and forth in my mind, like, who do I believe? Like, it was really bad. Like, I know who to believe, because I have faith. I have real strong faith. And then my anxiety was already kind of like calmed down. I'm smiling the whole time, because I'm like, yeah, God basically just put his signature mark on this whole situation, letting me know, like, no, I got you, baby girl. Because I was wondering, like, who dropped their cords and now they're mine? And God's like, no, I dropped these cords. So God is like letting me know, like, no, I dropped these cords right here on the ground. Like, logically, you trying to come up with a reason, like, how did these cords even get there by my mom's feet? Like, did someone else drop these while they were walking through the parking lot? But God was like, no, don't worry about none of that. I dropped these cords. And then, y'all, this is where this Harry Potter theme song comes into play, because I kept hearing this like the week or two before my graduation. I didn't know why, even though I knew it had something to do with OWL and education. But that theme song represents having courage and being safe. And that's and recognizing, danger when it comes, and getting through battles, getting through, like, being that warrioress, and keeping your head on straight, facing obstacles. And, I even saw something that talked about, because the owl's name is Ludwig, and, it means like a covering of the head, or trying to, hide something, like being vulnerable. And that is kind of like what this situation reminds me of. So basically, here I am, I'm 5 people, and then on the way there, the advisor over my department, basically, my diploma, like our category, our group, I don't know, our major, she's standing there, the one who didn't want to give me the cords. And I kind of like wanted to turn my back away from her, because she's like standing behind me, and she's like, congratulations, shaking everybody's hand. And and I didn't want to shake her hand, because I was really still feeling some type of way about the cords. Like, I was thankful that she fixed everything on my transcript and stuff, so that I can like graduate, and she didn't give me problems with that. But I was still kind of like, I don't want her to see these cords, because she might be like, oh, such and such said they lost those cords, those are theirs. Or, I didn't know what she was going to try to come up with, like, or like, how'd you get those? I didn't know. So I tried to hide. And then I heard God say, no, you show her those cords. You turn around straight and you walk straight. You don't kind of turn. The door is that way. Why are you turning? You need to be walking straight, and she needs to see those cords. And I knew that was for God's glory, because when she saw those cords, bruh, not bruh, but sis, whatever you are. If a facial expression could talk, she was just looking like, what the HE double hockey sticks, how in the heck did you get those cords? Like, that's like, I saw her eyes like, look at the cords, look at me, look at the cords, look at me, and then look confused, and then looking like her face was just talking to me. And I'm already gifted, so I already could read what she was saying, but I knew that God wanted the glory, and God wanted her to see, like, you cannot steal my child's blessings. Whatever is meant for her is meant for her. She probably was thinking, like, did she order those off of Amazon, or did someone at the school who she knows, because she knows I'm an ambassador for the school, and she knows I'm pretty popular. She's probably thinking, like, did that girl who brought me the cords, did she give them to her from the school? But that's not what happened. That girl that brought me the cords, she don't even know that the situation about me finding them, because I didn't tell her. She thinks that those were just my cords, and I left them in the car with my mom or something. So she didn't even know the whole testimony about the cords. But that lady face was looking sick. And I did walk on the stage with my cords. They're in my graduation picture on my Instagram, Barbara J. Bass. And that's my testimony. That is my long testimony about this journey of me being in education. And I feel like that's why I heard that song, because God was letting me know. I know it's like a spooky song. To me, it's a spooky song. So, but it's like God uses whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I was wondering why I kept hearing that song, but it did make me think of kids, and it did make me think of like kids that were like adventurous, or getting through things, and kind of curious, and, maybe even witchcraft being involved in the situation, like not like candles being lit straight up. I don't know what that lady's into, but like more like I know one thing, she probably has a lot of wisdom because she has gray and black. She has that salt and pepper hair or whatever. But yeah, she just, I don't know what she was trying to do, y'all, but she did not want to give me those cords. I got those cords. All glory be to God. I got my way. I felt so calm, and so like this presence came over me once I got those cords. Once my mom sent me the text message of the cords, I knew that God had his hand on the situation. I knew the cords was from God, and I was just like so amazed by God once again. I was like, wow. And to some people this may be like a small, it's not a big deal to you, but to me this is such a big deal, because when God puts his signature on something, and him dropping those cords at my mom's feet, that was his signature move for me. That was what did it for me. And I know that hearing that Harry Potter song was about me getting through different levels of witchcraft, because I already experienced, hexes and, the real creepy black magic voodoo type stuff being put on me. I was with a voodoo priest for years. So I already went through all that and beat those battles, but this was like another level of witchcraft, because it's not someone actually lighting candles on you and stuff like that. This was like underhanded, like what that Bible verse talks about, something about in high places, hypocrisy in high places and stuff like that. This is like government, schools, education systems, like people who can have the power to do things. And that's why I always tell God, like, thank you for humbling me. Thank you for humbling me. Thank you for putting me through all the things that that I went through, because now I know that when I'm ever in a position of power, I know how to, move within that stance. So I'm just thankful for this whole thing that happened. I'm thankful for God's symbols and signs, and I'm thankful for him letting me know that I was safe, and to have courage and to actually show her those cords do not hide. When God blesses you, do not hide your blessings. That table was prepared right there in front of her for her face to see it. Okay. But yeah, this is that. This is my second video. I know it's a lot, but I'm just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything about this. I just want to say another thing about having wisdom in recognizing danger when it's before you, and to still act with courage, because I felt like a demonic force was really trying to convince me that I was not going to walk with the cords. They're like, oh yeah, God, like you could hear the voice coming in between God talking or an angel, and then God, like literally cartoon of the devil and the angel. Like that's what I felt like was going on in my head. I'm like, well, I guess God just gave me the cords so that I can take pictures with them after, and maybe it's not meant for me to walk with the cords in front of her because she might take them, or like it was all this fear that came over me, because I always try to do the right thing. And God was like, no one's going to take these off your neck. These are your cords. What are you talking about? Like, what's going on in your head right now? Like, God's like, do you really, like, come on, man, don't try me. Basically, God was like, don't try me. Like, you finna walk across the stage with these cords on. Like, but it was like I kept hearing this voice trying to defeat me. Like, no, the cords are really just for you to take pictures with your family after the graduation. No, your advisor doesn't need to see you in those cords. Oh, it's not that serious. And I'm like, it is that serious. God saw how I saw another prophetic word where someone was saying that too. She was like, God sees how we react when we're told no. And I felt like I handled it very humble. I was about to cry in front of that lady. She saw me about to cry. Everyone in there knew that I was sad about them cords. But I wasn't rude to her, wasn't nasty to her. I did try to see how I could get around her. I wasn't going to send her another email. I feel like the transcript situation and having to come out of pocket $2,000 or $3,000 again for another semester was more of a more serious situation. Like when I talk to my friends, they're like, cords are not a big deal, and I tried to like brush it under the rug, but I think I know God saw how important it was to me, and I'm just so thankful that he blessed me and he put his signature move on it, and that now he has increased my faith even more. He prepared my table right there right in front of my enemy so she could see the glory be to God, and that I got my cords. And just have courage, have wisdom to see the danger that is presented, or the witchcraft that is presented before you, but just know that you can move through it. All levels of witchcraft, whether it's lighting a candle in the dark, voodoo, witchcraft, magic, black magic, or sorcery, where it's high level corporate, professional witchcraft, where it's like dealing with higher systems. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, may God pull you through it, all of it. And this was my testimony to just basically give you courage. And I think I'm gonna call it a night. So good night, y'all, and I hope this testimony helps you and that you learned something from it.